What if Archduke Franz Ferdinand's assassination failed? The 20th century was a total accident. 100 million deaths, the rise of Hitler, the Cold War. All of it can be traced back to one distracted driver taking a wrong turn in Sarajevo. But what if that driver had stayed on course? What if the Archduke had lived? Have you ever felt like the world is on a runaway train? In 1914, it was. But Franz Ferdinand was the one man who wanted to pull the brakes. Today, we're exploring three massive what-ifs. First, the United States of Greater Austria, the Archduke's secret plan to prevent ethnic war. Second, the mystery of why the Russian Revolution never happened, leaving the Romanovs on the throne into the 21st century. And third, the long peace, a 20th century where the greatest minds of a generation didn't die in trenches, but instead conquered disease and space by 1950. The Archduke's survival didn't just prevent a war, it saved the soul of the West. Chapter 1. The Sandwich and the Wrong Turn. June 28, 1914. Sarajevo. The first assassination attempt by the Black Hand fails. The Archduke is furious, but alive. In our world, his driver takes a wrong turn and stalls directly in front of Gavrilo Princip, who is eating a sandwich. Princip looks up, sees the target, and fires. In this reality, the driver hears the Archduke shout and keeps driving. The car speeds away. Princip is arrested before he can finish his lunch. The Archduke returns to Vienna, shaken but determined. The July crisis never begins because there is no royal corpse to avenge. The powder keg of Europe remains unlit. Chapter 2. The Reformer, the United States of Greater Austria. Franz Ferdinand was not the warmonger he's often portrayed as. He hated the Hungarian elites and wanted to give power to the Slavic people of the empire to stabilize it. Upon his ascension to the throne, he implements his United States of Greater Austria plan. The empire is federalized. Croats, Serbs, and Czechs are given their own parliaments under a central Habsburg crown. He turns a dying empire into a modern federation. This move defuses the Balkan nationalism that caused the tension in the first place. The sick man of Europe starts to look like the healthiest. Chapter 3. The Russian monarchy survives. Without the exhaustion and famine of World War I, the Russian Empire never collapses. Tsar Nicholas II is still a poor leader, but there is no linen in a sealed train because Germany isn't at war with Russia. The Bolsheviks remain a fringe group in exile. Russia continues its slow, painful march toward industrialization and perhaps a constitutional monarchy. There is no USSR, no gulags, no Iron Curtain. Imagine a Moscow that is the fashion capital of the East, still ruled by the Romanovs in 2024. Chapter 4. The Ottoman Empire's Slow Fate. The Great War was the death blow for the Ottomans. Without it, the empire lingers. They maintain control of the Middle East, meaning the borders of modern-day Iraq, Syria, and Israel are never drawn by British and French pencils. The region remains under a single, albeit weakening, caliphate. The massive oil reserves of the 20th century are managed by Istanbul, making the Ottoman Empire the bank of the world. Is a stable Middle East under a sultan better than the chaos of the 20th century? It's a question most historians are afraid to answer. Chapter 5. The Golden Age of Science. Think of the names we lost in the trenches. Poets, mathematicians, doctors. In this timeline, the lost generation is the found generation. With the wealth of Europe not being spent on artillery shells, it is spent on laboratories. The 1920s become a period of unprecedented scientific cooperation between London, Berlin, and Paris. Penicillin is discovered 10 years early. The jet engine is developed for travel, not bombing. By 1940, the world looks like our 1960s. We've seen the long peace, but don't think this world is a utopia. Every peace has a price. I'm about to reveal the greatest secret of the 20th century in this timeline. The moment the world had to face a rising, imperial Japan and a desperate, isolated United States without a European war to join. But first, what happened to the arts? Chapter 6. No Modernism of Despair. Art is a reflection of the soul. In our world, the horror of World War I gave us Dadaism, Surrealism, and the literature of despair. Think Hemingway and Eliot. In this timeline, the Belle Époque never ends. Architecture remains ornate. Music remains melodic. The world stays classic. There is no cynical age. People still believe in the progress of man. It is a beautiful world, but perhaps a naive one. Chapter 7. The Rise of the Pacific. With Europe stable, the focus shifts to the Pacific. Japan, seeking to expand its empire, finds itself blocked by the European powers. Without a war to distract Britain and France, Japan cannot move into Southeast Asia. Tensions rise, but they are resolved through diplomacy and trade. The American dream remains a continental affair, as the U.S. focuses on its own internal growth, never becoming the arsenal of democracy. Chapter 8. The Nuclear Question. Without the desperate race to build a bomb to beat Hitler, the Manhattan Project never happens. Nuclear physics remains a theoretical curiosity. The atomic age is delayed by half a century. The world never knows the fear of the flash. Conflicts are still fought with ships and planes, but they are localized. The concept of total war is never realized. Chapter 9. The Daily Life of the 1950s. You live in a world of high-speed rail and zeppelins. The cities of Europe, Vienna, Berlin, Paris, are the centers of the world. You speak 3 languages as a matter of course. The social classes are still rigid, but the United States of Europe is a reality of trade and travel. There is a sense of eternal stability. But do you feel free? Or do you feel like a cog in a very beautiful, very old machine? Chapter 10. The Modern Map, 2024. The map is a patchwork of ancient dynasties and modern federations. The Habsburgs still rule in Vienna, the Romanovs in St. Petersburg. The world is conservative, stable, and incredibly wealthy. The survival of the Archduke saved 100 million lives, but it also stopped the world from reinventing itself. What 20th century invention would be greatly missed if it was never conceived? Let us know in the comments.